I have that pop described in chapter 2 in the loops part. Okay. So we have a list like this, right? And then you have some stuff in there. So say -3, 5, none. And 15, 20 or something like that. Okay. So you're going to do, so suppose if this is x, so you're going to do, while x, so that means it's going to loop as long as x has something in it. Okay. Once x is empty, then it'll get out of the loop. Okay. So then, so you will do, oh, come on. Okay, so you do x dot pop, okay, and then you have to specify which index you want. Okay. Now in a for loop, when we are accessing different elements of a list, we use the index, right? I equal to 0, and then I equal to 1, to 2, I equal to 3, and so on. So you're iterating over each of the elements of a list. And that will work for a for loop because you start from the beginning, and once you are at the end, then you're done, get out of the for loop. That while doesn't work that way. Okay. Why are we using while here? Why can't we use for itself? Well, yeah, we could use for too, but this is a class. So we need to learn both for loop and while. So that's the reason why we're using while loop. So what we need to use is a function that will keep emptying out this list, okay? And then there will come a time when there will be nothing in the list, so the while loop can finish and exit out. Otherwise, while loop will keep on going, it will never end, right? So that's the reason why we use pop. So pop, you have to specify a particular location. So we're going to use the first location, so which means it's 0. So it's going to pop the first time around, it goes around, it pops, so that'll be -3. So you'll probably set it equal to something. So like a equal to, and then do whatever you need to do with a. Okay, you need to check whether a is a number, or is it a positive number or a negative number. So you need an if for that. Okay, so you go through the if part and then do whatever it takes to do what you want to do. So keep doing that. Okay, and then you're going to go back. So first time around, it's going to be that, right? That -3. Once that is popped out, your x is going to be now, so the 3 is gone, it will be only 5, none, 15, and 20. So it's no longer, it's going to be, the first element is now gone. It's not no longer in the list. So the next item is now moved to the 0 location, the index 0 location. So when you loop around, the second time you're still popping the 0 position, but in the 0 position you now have the second number, right? So the second number will get popped to A, and then you do whatever that you have to do in the while loop and get that done. So once the second loop is done, then x will now be even further reduced. So it will have none, 15, and 20. Okay, the third time around, it will be that. So again, you will be only looking at the 0 position, because now the new element has been moved to that position. And you keep going. And once everything is over, so there is nothing in X, then you will exit out of the while loop. Okay? So that's what you have to use in number 3B. All right, and for okay, so to determine the number of hours for this date, you have to find the time interval between now and that date, September 4th, 1995, whatever. That would be the difference with time date format. So it will have the days and the hours and the minutes and the seconds and the microseconds, the nanoseconds, or whatever else that they store internally. We don't care about that, but it's going to be in that format. Now we have to change that into hours. So we have to take that time difference, okay, you save it in a variable name, your variable name. And then you divide by time delta function. Time delta function comes from date time library. So you have to make sure that you run the date time library. If you don't run the date time library, you will get an error. So time delta, I don't know where time delta is, because you have to run that library, then only it will know what time delta is. So the problem with, well, not a problem, the feature of time delta is there are only some time elements that you can choose. We have that. Okay, see, time delta, the options that you have are days. So if you put days equal to 1 and you divide the interval by days equal to 1, what you will get back is how many days is that time interval worth. Okay. If you use seconds equal to 1, it will tell you how many seconds are there in that time interval that you have saved. Okay. A micro 7 milliseconds, minutes, hours, this is what we want. So hours equal to 1 will give you how many hours there are. And weeks equal to 1 will give you number of weeks. Okay. So those are the only options we have. Now, there was a question about why there was a question about number of years. Well, if you want number of years, you don't have years as an option here. So if that was available, then all you have to do is to divide and then say years equal to 1. And it will give you how many years there are in that time interval. But years is not available. So you have to convert to days and then convert the days into years. And I don't know, I had it, I don't know where it is now. Well, we did that, right? But so that's the reason why you had to divide by 365 point whatever that was. Okay?